So the time has come. It has been longer than I planned, and I actually finished reading the How to Train Your Dragon series like a couple of weeks ago. Oh my gosh, I'm sick. My voice, it sounds weird. So I finished reading this series like a couple of weeks ago. Wow, it was good. I'm going to do a quick overview of books 7 through 12 like I did with books 1 through 6, and then I'm going to talk about the differences between the first half of the series and the last half of the series. Book 7, How to Ride a Dragon Storm. Our heroes are kidnapped by Norbert the Nutjob and taken across the seas, and it's intense, and I love this book. This is probably my favorite book in the whole series because it's the last standalone book, but it's more intense than the previous ones. I mean, it's still super funny, but it like takes the intensity to a new level without getting into the major plot line yet. Book 8, How to Break a Dragon's Heart, which this is where things get real in the How to Train Your Dragon series. Kamikaze is missing, and so Hiccup and his tribe are searching for her, and you can already see, I don't know, some of the development in the tribes, that the bog burglars and the hooligans don't hate each other anymore. They're like helping each other out. And you find out things like, why is he horrendous Hiccup the third? Why isn't he just the first? Who were the other two Hiccups? Also, what's going on with Fish Legs? Who are his parents? Where did he come from? Then we got book 9, where things get even more intense. Alvin is important. He's a bad person, and the witch is also very bad, and Hiccup has to do a lot of crazy brave things to save his friends and family from certain death. Book 10, How to Seize a Dragon's Jewel. Like, the storyline gets more intense. Like, this three-headed dragon here, what is it, and what is it about Fish Legs, and what's special about Fish Legs? What is the dragon's jewel, and why does Hiccup need to find it? Honestly, it's really hard to talk about these without giving spoilers away. Book 11, How to Betray a Dragon's Hero. There's a lot of betraying in this book. There's a lot of character redemption in this book. Like, a character I thought would never be redeemed has a redemption storyline, and it was really cool. And we've got the last book, How to Fight a Dragon's Fury. What an ending. Like, these two books, books 11 and 12, take place in like the same 3-day period, and Hiccup, yeah, he doesn't do so well, poor Hiccup. But it's an intense ending. It's a very good ending. It was better than I thought it would be, and just, yeah, it's a great series. So now let's talk about the series as a whole. Books 1 through 6 were fairly lighthearted and quite hilarious, and very good and developed characters, and I love them very much. And we have book 7, which is more intense, but pretty much the same thing. And then we go to book 8, and we're introduced to the plot line of the Grimbeard the Ghastly, which we've talked about since book 2, and how he was the king of all the Wilderlands or whatever, how there needs to be a new king, and how this dragon problem needs to be dealt with, and all of Hiccup's stuff with the previous Hiccups, because he's Hiccup the third, and all the stuff with his family, and all the stuff with trying to choose a king, and all the stuff with Alvin and his mother the witch coming, and it gets really intense really fast. There's a lot of storyline, there's a lot of plot, but my favorite part is that everything in the first 6 books was leading up to this. It is a reasonable conclusion from the first 6 books. They're continuously referenced. It says in the beginning of book 1, I think, this is the story of becoming a hero the hard way, and it's definitely the story of becoming a hero the hard way. Hiccup is an amazing main character. He goes through a lot of rough times, and he becomes a much stronger person through them all. His friends, Fish Legs and Kamikaze, their development through the story is really cool as well, and how they become better friends with Hiccup, and how, you know, they're really good friends. They're so loyal to him. I like getting to know all the different Viking tribes, and how some of them are better, some of them are worse, how they unite over their differences to do good things. I like the character of Hiccup's mother. I was not expecting her to have so much of a role as she did, since she was pretty much non-existent in the first 6 books, which there was a point to as well. And like all the characters too, it's kind of like Full Metal Alchemist. Not quite, because it's nothing can be as epic as the ending of Full Metal Alchemist. Like, the author gave everybody a pretty satisfying conclusion. They all had something to do with the end game. They were all present, pretty much everyone who was alive still at the end of the book, and I like that when authors don't, like, you know, just introduce a character and then they're gone. I like it when there are characters and they're important. They're not just like throwaway. They have a purpose beyond their plots, if that makes any sense. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a part in the ongoing story, and I thought that was really cool. To sum up, I loved the series. When they get it at Costco this winter, as I hope they might, because they usually get, you know, box sets of books, I really want to own it. But now I have to return it to the child who I borrowed it from and take book 12 back to the library. It's definitely a series I will probably reread someday, because it was very good. It was very funny. Like, oh my gosh, the illustrations are amazing, and the storyline is really good, and the characters are great, and there is nothing not to like about these books. I highly recommend reading them if you ever have a chance.